Welcome again to the session on Aristotle's Poetics. Chapter 19th. We have seen that so far Aristotle had talked about the six elements of the tragedy. We have also discussed plot and character, which are an integral element of a tragedy. He says thought also is an integral or internal element of a tragedy. Concerning thought, he says, we may assume what is said in the rhetoric to which inquiry the subject more strictly belongs. Under thought is included every effect which has to be produced by speech. So, the subdivisions are proof and refutation, the excitation of the feelings such as pity, fear, anger, and the like. The suggestion of important or is opposite. Now, he says thought and diction are closely related. And characters, they always express through language, that is their speech. So, when he says proof and reputation, whenever a thought is expressed by character in the words, it is used to prove something or disprove something. They might use it to prove an argument or disprove an argument. It might also be used by the character to produce certain excitation of feelings, such as emotional effects, to persuade, to convince, and emotions are the part of the thought. It can also be used to exaggerate or refute. That means the dramatic incidents which are treated from same points of view, dramatic speeches, he says, the only difference is that incidents should speak for themselves with verbal exposition. Next, regards to diction, he says, our one branch of inquiry treats of mode of utterance, but this province of knowledge belongs to the art of delivery and the masters of that science. When the character is expressing his thoughts and indicating to certain things, he is either minimizing or maximizing, exaggerating the importance. So the speech should express the thoughts in such a way that it looks significant or insignificant, and this can be done only through the use of language. The speeches, Aristotle says, regarding thought should be appropriate, and diction is an important part of it, because the effect of plot, which is added by the expression of thought and through the speech of characters, he says, for a better understanding, Aristotle has mentioned here for these terms of thought and diction, he refers to his book Rhetoric. We can read that further to understand what he exactly meant by diction and thought. Chapter 20, he talks about diction and the parts of diction, the grammatical elements. He says language includes letter, syllable, connecting words, noun, verbs, inflection, case, sentence, phrase, etc. Now, this is a very technical kind of a chapter because it includes grammar, it includes syntax and the usage also. And this chapter has lesser to do with literary criticism because and more to do with the grammatical aspects. So it is also sometimes said that by the critics that these chapters were included later on and they were simply interpolated. He talks about the use of words, and we get definition of, say, for example, he starts by the definition of letter, which he calls as an individual sound, yet not every sound. Then he talks of sound, vowel, semivowel, or mute. Then he talks of vowel, which is without impact or tongue. Then he says syllable, syllable, which is a non-significant sound. Then he talks about the connecting word, which is a non-significant sound, which neither causes or hinders the union, etc. And then non-significant sounds and the like, which marks the beginning, end, and division of a sentence. So then he also talks about the nouns, the definition of a noun, which is a composite significant word. Then the definition of a verb, which is a composite significant sound marking time and no part in itself is significant. Inflection, which belongs both to noun and verb. Then a sentence or phrase, which is a composite significant sound, wherein every group of words consists of verbs and nouns. This chapter, 20th chapter, we saw that it was totally dedicated to the grammatical elements of language. Now, this 21 chapter, this is dedicated to the parts of speech. And he also explains metaphor. Then he begins the chapter by saying that words are of two kinds, simple and double. By simple, he says that non-significant elements such as, by double and compound, he says non-significant elements. And he says that the metaphor, every word he says is metaphorical or ornamental. And by metaphor, he says it sounds certain like extraordinary, but we should agree that it is the selection and ordering of words and images into literary works. And he also observes that words can be of variety, and there can be 6 types or 6 varieties of words. And he talks of detail about the metaphor. The 6 sorts of words can be the popular usage words, the terms which are brought from foreign dialects and languages, those of metaphorical tones, ornamentations, terms which are freshly coined, or certain slangs which belong to this category, or words which have been modified and shortened, or simple variations that we perceive and see in language and words. Then he also talks of newly coined phrases and words, or altered words, nouns, masculine and feminine, or rhymes, masculine rhymes and ending rhymes, etc. Chapter 22, he further talks about diction and style, and he says that perfection of style has to be considered, that clearest of style is that which uses current or proper words. And what he means by is that it should neither be too ornamented or too belittling to understand, so ordinary. And the poet's language and style should be very clear. Clarity is essential. And the current words, or the words that the poet uses, it should be clear but not too magnificent and too dignified. And if at all he is not using ordinary words and using some strange words or jargons or certain words which he has borrowed from other languages, so this diction, it differs from the diction of ordinary conversation, and it should be used in such an intelligent way that it should not go beyond the language of ordinary conversation or becoming unintelligible to the readers. In this chapter, towards the end, he also talks of metaphor. He says it is a certain gift at the hands of writers, because the poetic inspirations or the natural talent that the writers produces in writing poetry becomes beautiful with the use of metaphors. And this is considered to be a species of poetry wherein we see that the normal colloquial conversational iambic verses are modeled and reframed by the rhythm of ordinary speeches, and metaphors are further used.